Hello, everyone. This is Charles Coleman, team leader of Keller Williams Avenues Realty. And today I am speaking with
Hi, I'm Emily Burch.
awesome Emily. So super appreciate you being on this call today. And first things first, when did you become a real estate agent in Colorado?
I got my license in November of 21.
Awesome. And tell us, what did you do prior to getting your real estate license?
Well, I'm kind of old, so I've done a lot. Consulting, I've done construction estimating, drafting. I ran a daycare when my kids were little. I had a successful network marketing business,
Yeah.
and we moved out to a small town, and I started substituting so I could get to know people and the kids and be part of my kids' life.
Awesome. Good stuff. So definitely a progression into real estate, but it sounds like some of the pieces kind of tied into real estate here and there.
Yeah, I've always loved residential real
Mhm.
estate and ground ups and stuff.
Mhm.
So it was just a good season to start um, having a career in real estate myself.
Yeah, awesome. So what made you eventually choose KW? Because you didn't start at KW.
I didn't. I started at a small boutique
Mhm.
brokerage, and it was, I mean, really, Charles, everybody loves you. You're amazing. You are um, such a great team leader, and I came to KW for the training.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. So came to KW because of the training, and it sounds like I was a little persistent with getting you over here. And we're super thrilled to have you here. And obviously, one of the reasons for the call is you just had your first closing.
Hmm. I
And
did.
where, if you don't mind us asking, where did you find your first client?
So that sphere of influence is definitely
Mhm.
where I'm gonna focus. And
Yeah.
she's a friend of mine.
Awesome. So sphere of influence and just reaching out and becoming that real estate economist of choice. And this person that already knows you, likes you, and trusts you, let you help them with the largest financial decision of their lives. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what happened during this transaction? What was the biggest obstacle that you faced?
Um, so I would say keeping my friend, my client
Mhm.
focused, keeping her eyes on the prize.
Yeah.
We set up a detailed calendar of what
Mhm.
needed to be accomplished by when to keep us on track for
Yeah.
her goal of closing and being out of the house when she wanted to be. So it had a lot of parts to it. There there was an organizer who came in, and she
Mhm.
was amazing at helping her choose what was important enough to box up and move across country and what could just be let go of.
Yeah.
Um, we had originally gone under contract immediately, right when we were putting it on the market.
Mhm.
And that fell through. So one of the things I was most grateful for on maintaining
Mhm.
that calendar, that schedule, was even though it was under contract, I still went through and had it staged beautifully and got the photographs done, because ultimately if something happened, we didn't
Mhm.
want to be behind the eight ball, making sure that that timeline was kept, and that really worked to our advantage.
That's awesome. So even though that there was a potential client in place, did not want to miss a beat just in case something happened in this real estate transaction, because in the very beginning of all this thing, you guys actually set out a timeline and why this was important to your client.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome. So with this transaction, what was the biggest win?
So for me, it was great to see what diligence and focus did, because
Mhm.
we met originally at the end of January with
Yeah.
our timetable of putting the house on the market the first week of April. And in a
Mhm.
perfect world, in the market where it was when everything was moving quickly,
Yeah.
that would put us closing the first week of May, right?
Mhm.
So that all got jumbled up a little bit, but we
Mhm.
still we still were able to have the photos done to put us on that first week of April time schedule. And then the contract fell through after that.
Yeah.
So we had everything in line, and when that contract fell through, everything was beautiful, and we had another person go under contract. They were actually a cash buyer. So even though it was a quick 12-day close, we hit one day from the closing date we had in our mind's eye back in January.
That is a huge win, right? When I started thinking about things like this happening, like they don't ever fall into place like that. So from the very beginning, as you're setting up the expectations with your client and the timeline and why it's important to them, and even putting in those countermeasures just in case something did go awry, and something did, you were able to still hit the timeline for your client. That is huge.
Yeah, I
Uh,
love being able to take the stress off of them.
yeah.
You know, you have so much going on, even in the best situation, change is
Mhm.
change and change is hard. So being able to
Yeah.
feel that and shoulder that for her, and just say, keep your eyes on the prize. We only need
Yeah.
one buyer.
No, absolutely. One buyer for every house. I like it. Tell me about the support that you received from the brokerage during this transaction. What did that look like as you were navigating these waters?
So that original contract we were under,
Hmm.
the buyer's agent was he was happy when everything was going his way, but when he couldn't secure a buyer for the property they needed to sell, and we wouldn't give him an extra 2 weeks past
Yeah.
the original 2 weeks,
Hmm.
he got very cranky.
Yeah.
But like I said, we knew from the beginning, from day one, what the schedule worked best for my client. So
Yeah.
to allow him another 2 weeks just wasn't in her best interest.
Hmm.
And he got very frustrated. He was actually yelling at me,
Oh.
and calling me unreasonable. And I am, talking to Margaret, and she's like, you're taking care of your client,
Hmm.
your fiduciary duty is to her, not to
Yeah.
make everything work for his clients.
Hmm.
And so just having that support of having somebody to bounce it off of, to
Yeah.
know that I'm not unreasonable, because I don't care how old we are, when somebody's
Hmm.
yelling at us, it doesn't feel very good, right?
Right. Now, I think that's big, right? When I start thinking about, we always want to have a win-win, right? We want
Mhm.
there to always be an outcome to where everyone's excited about it. And sometimes those outcomes don't always come to fruition. And at the end of the day, you're absolutely right. This was about your client and making sure that the job that you set out from day one to achieve, that you achieve for them, because that's what was in their best interest. So I'm glad you're able to partner with someone during the transaction to kind of be that sounding board.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, one thing that I'm super excited to ask you, for everyone that's watching this at home, as you have started this real estate career, what is some advice that you would have for someone that is either struggling or just starting out?
I personally felt like I was drinking from a fire hose, right? There's
Hmm.
so much to grasp.
Hmm.
But really taking time to set up the systems, to
Hmm.
stay organized, I think is fundamental, because if
Yeah.
you are running around with your hair on fire, you're
Hmm.
not going to be able to keep your client positive and focused and calm, right?
Yeah.
We bring the energy with us to those relationships and transactions.
Yeah.
So just having those systems in place. And I love being organized. I love
Hmm.
calendars,
Hmm.
and then remaining positive. When the contract fell through and my client was, okay, what are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to do? It was a
Yeah.
unique property and a higher price point.
Hmm.
Just remaining positive. Like, she's like, why don't we have 12 offers on the first weekend, 80,000 over asking. So that
Yeah.
is not this market.
Mhm.
You're not getting a first time home buyer millennial in skinny jeans coming in
Right.
wanting to take care of your property. So we just need one. We just need the
Yes.
right one.
Yeah. You know what I like about that is that most people getting into this industry, it is to become their own boss, and it is to run their own schedule and do things the way that they want to do it. And it is very hard to train someone that you have to adhere to a time block and to a calendar and to a schedule. And for you to be like, I love them, this has made this process so much simpler for me, because when you're going through and you're like, this is what my regiment looks like, this is when I'm doing my activities, this is when I'm showing houses, like that is a huge skill. And for that to be the advice of start wrapping your head around this now, priceless advice. I appreciate that, Emily.
Yeah.
Well, Emily, I super appreciate you getting on the call today. I know that everyone listening from home is going to find inspiration in this. And like I said, I super appreciate you spending some time with us today.
I appreciate you, Charles, and everything you do. Thank you.
You're welcome.